Welcome new and old friends. My name is 2482, and today, 2 got us 6 Glitch in the Matrix stories. So, turn off your lights, make sure your doors and windows are locked. Things are about to get spooky. My dog suddenly walked over to me and began staring at me with a very odd look in his eye. Without warning, he opened his mouth and said, "We need to talk, and we don't have much time before he gets here." Can you be stuck between 2 universes? By Reception Extension 82. I went for a hike a couple of days ago, and I think I may have shifted or I'm in between 2 realities since. Think the shift happened in the woods. Swore I saw my sister's dog run over the hill in the distance and not come back, so I'm calling for her. My sister and dad asked me what I'm doing. The dog is right in front of us and always has been. I tell them what I saw and we laugh it off, that I saw what happened in another reality. But nothing has been the same since. Like, my mom has been extra different to me. I'm visiting for a week. I live in a different state than my hometown. I asked for cupcakes and she, for the first time ever, got dairy-free ones for me. I have been dairy-free for 8 years. Washed a towel and bedding for me with fragrance-free detergent. I've been using fragrance-free for 8 years, etc. My niece has been clingy to me, like crying that I'm leaving, which the last few times I visited, she was just like, "Okay, bye." So besides everything feeling different since the hike in the woods, I saw a bug in my bedroom on the radiator. I went to pick it up with a random bottle, and I swear to God, the minute the bottle touched the bug disappeared. That's why I'm wondering if I'm stuck or transitioning or something where I'm seeing parts of one universe while being in another. Is this possible? I know, it seems crazy. Is there any way to know? Anything I should worry about? The new female Twitch streamer is so beautiful that I'm obsessed, and I just wanted to keep her safe. I didn't know if she was aware her home address is available online, but I knew I needed to go to her house and let her know. Quite a few things have happened. By Frankiethetrans. I have 3 stories. First story, teleporting dog. I let my dog outside. I was watching her from the window. I sat down to watch some YouTube. I think it was Most Amazing Top 10. I watched them a lot. It was about 30 minutes later, and it was cold outside, so I opened the door and called out my dog's name. She wasn't outside. I couldn't see her. She ended up coming to me from inside the house. I was the only one home at the time, and I watched her go outside. We don't have a doggy door either. Story 2. Teleporting Dog, Part 2. This time I was making mac and cheese, and I was by the stove the whole time. Our kitchen caught on fire before. I looked over and saw my dog chewing on a bone. She walked over to me, and I petted her. I continued cooking my food. I looked back over about 10 minutes later, and she wasn't there, so I walked around to where she usually lays. She wasn't there either. Then I heard her jumping on the door to be let in. I was also home alone at the time, and the door was locked. Story number 3. Bag magically fixes itself. I had this handbag that I thrifted. After I bought it, the zipper on the inside broke. I didn't bother to fix it, but today it was fixed. I opened my bag that no one has touched, and the broken zipper was fixed and closed. I opened my bag multiple times today, and each time the zipper was broken. But this time, it was fixed, and I hadn't lost sight of my bag. The once distracting patient soon became no more than a distant memory for the asylum staff, after he was transferred to a padded cell deep in the basement. They even forgot to get him when the asylum went out of business and was abandoned. Pocket Dimension Backpack by Yoon. I'm a senior at college, and I've had the same backpack since my freshman year. It's a simple gray leather backpack with 3 components and one small component with a zipper inside the biggest one. It also doesn't have any cloth lining on the inside. The incidents have only started happening this week. On Monday, I put my new lipstick in the smallest compartment, where I usually put my makeup and stationery. I didn't use it or even take it out the whole morning, and when I tried to use it in the afternoon, I couldn't find it anywhere in my bag. The only other person who had access to my bag was my best friend, and he's a guy who doesn't use makeup at all. The two of us turned my whole bag inside out, and when we couldn't find the lipstick, he suggested I probably forgot it home, and I must have thought I took it with me. I agreed, but I got home, I still couldn't find the lipstick anywhere. I was so adamant about finding it because I just bought it last week and it was kind of expensive. Fast forward to yesterday. We were having coffee with some friends before our classes started for the day. I myself hadn't even opened my bag after leaving the house, and it was literally on my back the whole time. I opened it to get my wallet, and the first thing I see in there is the lipstick. I immediately show it to my best friend, and we were both shocked because we had both turned that stupid thing inside out the previous day. And I had even texted him that night telling him I hadn't found the lipstick at home. If this was the only time it happened, I probably wouldn't have given it too much afterthought. On my way home yesterday, I bought a pack of cigarettes. I'm trying to quit, but it's hard, I won't lie. And I kept it in my bag. Me and my best friend smoked a few, and there were at least 6 left. I even remember thinking I wouldn't have to buy another pack for the night. And then I got home, tried to smoke one, and I couldn't find the whole pack. I texted my friend asking if he accidentally took it, but he said he was sure he saw me put it back in my bag. And just like the lipstick, I found the cigarette pack in my bag again this morning. I live with my aunt. She works a lot, and we barely even home at the same time, so it couldn't have been her. That and the fact that she never goes in my room, doesn't really wear makeup at all, she's a nurse, and doesn't smoke. I really don't know what to make of it at all, but in my own theory, unless something paranormal randomly decided to start messing with me, there's a pocket dimension in my backpack where my things get teleported for a day. I've been thinking about it so much, I just had to share it somewhere. My mother always threatened to lock me in the basement if I misbehaved too much. But why are there bodies that look like me down here? I'm not much of a Redditor, but I don't know where else to turn to. By EldritchEggoWaffle. Something weird just happened to me as I was leaving the McDonald's drive-thru. My local McDonald's is at the corner of the block, so as I left the parking lot, I got into the street onto a red light. This red light has no left turn for me. It's just green on both sides, and you go when there is no oncoming traffic. I noticed the other side going, but my side didn't show a green light. It was still red. I thought I may have gone too far forward, passing the crosswalk, so I tried to reverse a little. My vehicle didn't move, so I looked down on my gear shift. As I bring my head back up, I felt like I blinked, but I didn't physically blink. I can't describe it further than that. Eventually, it turned green for me and I made the left turn. I'm on my way to work, and as I pass the next town over, I notice a Hardee's, but it had the name Carl's Jr. This was the first change I noticed. Never in my life have I seen a Carl's Jr. When I got to work, I googled Carl's Jr. and noticed that the restaurant has 2 different names. I'm from California, and Hardee's is nationwide. Also, in my work jacket, I had $10 cash. Eventually, I got the cash out and counted. The ones were the right color, but when I got to the $5 note, it was the same background color with green as well. This is when I had a panic attack and rushed to the bathroom. US money is in color. $5 have an orange tint to it, 10 are white, 20 are blue, 50 are pink, and 100 is brownish red. I look at my texts and contacts on my phone. Everything looks the same. I call my wife, and it's my wife. I got home and there are minor things different that I really can't pinpoint. Maybe the books on the shelf are mixed. I never pay attention to them. It looks very familiar, but I can tell something is off. I don't know what to do. My bank account is the same. My family members who are dead are still dead. So far, it's just Hardee's, the money, and minor subtle changes in my home decor. Does anyone have any advice or ideas or what the fuck is happening to me? Should I go to my doctor? I have Kaiser through my employer if that helps. At this point, I'll take anything that might help me figure this out. I'm on my way to work now, and I chose not to try Carl's Jr. I feel if I interact with it, that it might cause a domino effect, or make things permanent. I came to the same McDonald's and I'm going to get the same food and time it, so I wait at the red light. Hopefully, it reverses whatever happened. Wish me luck. Update. I had to break down and end up explaining everything to my wife. Took some days off work and looked for other changes. The changes I noticed are minor in detail. As far as my military background, I noticed one change that doesn't really impact me. I'm also receiving VA benefits in this timeline/universe. Something I had been fighting the VA for years now for my lower back injury I had in 2008. Also, the HR lady at work is the HR lady that decided to resign and move back to Texas where she's from to be closer to her family. So the HR that replaced her never worked at my place of work. And as far as passwords go, I had to reset the passwords on 2 online accounts, Facebook and Twitter, which I then changed the passwords it should have been, but I didn't get the "you can't choose a previous password" warning. Which I found weird because my other social network apps have the correct password. So that's my small update. Still here, and yes, I did try Carl's Jr. The food is the same, except for something called Green Burrito Menu or whatever it's called. Never seen that before either. Thank you everyone who tried to help me. I've made peace with it. If I haven't jumped back now, I'm probably stuck here. Which I don't mind since the VA benefits exist in this universe, and apparently it's been a bit of a help for us. The CDC is investigating reports of a new variant. People are advised to monitor for any symptoms, as a new reported airborne rabies variant spreads through eastern US and Canada. Same car disappears twice. By ZantDaSkeleton. More bizarre, less creepy story, but one that still lingers in the back of my mind to this day. It was only 2 years ago, so it's still a pretty fresh memory. I was taking a walk around my neighborhood because the weather was nice and I decided to be nice to get a little cardio in. So I left my house about 1 in the afternoon and made my way to the local high school. I decided I'd walk to the campus, then double back and head home. It's a decent distance away, so going to and from was ideal for a walk. After about 20 minutes, I was a block away from the campus and could view the top of the building from where I was. There, I was almost at the corner closest to the school a block away. At that corner, a black, slim car turned the corner, passed by me, and drove down the street. However, I'm a very anxious and bored person, so the minute I noticed people, of course I'd be interested in the micro-journey I was witnessing. In other words, I turned my head to watch the car after only a few seconds of it turning the corner. The car was gone. Completely vanished. Note that I'm still at the far corner of a city block, which means there should still be a good 20 seconds or so before the car can even turn again. Not to mention, why would the car turn? If he wanted to go to my right instead of my left, it could have just kept driving straight. Sure, he could have just had a house on the side of the block, but I felt it worthy thing to mention. Puzzled, I stood there for a few seconds before turning back around and continuing forward. Another strange thing caught my eye then. An old lady watering her garden off to my right. Okay, cool, I wasn't the only witness. However, I shook my head and just assumed that this was all just a coincidence. I looked straight ahead again, towards the school, only for the same car to be turning right in front of me again, passing me again, vanishing again once my eyes followed suit as it left my immediate vision. Now, it was weird. This same black car had turned the same corner and vanished behind me for the split few seconds it wasn't in view. Twice now. It was still such an anomaly. I had never witnessed things like this before, and I haven't since. Some things to note now. It's no way it's that optical illusion where the car just barely manages to look like it vanished by hiding behind another car closer in view. The city block was stretched far enough that I could still see anything in the road. Not to mention, there were no parked cars in the street immediately to my side. Of course, there were a few sprinkled about, but nothing directly next to me. It wasn't a dream I'm just reviewing as a memory on accident. The amount of details is too much for someone like me who constantly forgets about dreams. I wasn't deep into thought or listening to music, just going with the flow of my walk, focused more on the heat than anything else. That means there's no way time just passed a lot faster than I thought. Unless I was just really intensely paying attention to the sky or the school, there's no room to explain that. I wasn't exactly paying attention to noises around me, no recollection of a car engine, sorry. Any thoughts? My father was relieved when I took my medication as he kept reassuring me that my hallucinations would now finally stop. It was only when I saw the news reports about all the missing women that I realized that all the screaming coming from our basement wasn't a hallucination. Went to bed sick, woke up feeling fine, but my daughter's favorite toy changed colors. I think I died. By SockTacoz. Hey guys, weird thing happened here. About 2 weeks ago I was feeling off, like I was going to have a heart attack or going to pass out or throw up. I don't have insurance at the moment, so I decided I would sleep it off. My daughter's favorite toy was on the couch when I came out to the living room. It is, or was, a blue dinosaur plushie she takes everywhere with her. Well, I scooted over on the couch and started watching TV, hoping to pass out, and I grabbed her toy and had it in my hands to distract myself. I eventually fell asleep and woke up the next day. My girlfriend and kid were gone, and I got up to get some water. I looked down the floor and thought, ah shit, she forgot her toy, she's gonna have a fit. Then it hit me. Instead of a dark blue toy I see all of the time, it was bright green. I know I'm not crazy. She's had it for a year now, and when I had asked what we should name it, I even said we should name it Blue. She throws a fit about the toy constantly and says, I want my blue dinosaur! I want my blue dinosaur! So I know for a motherfucking fact, this thing was blue. I thought maybe she had a second dinosaur similar and I'm not crazy. Then my girlfriend calls me and asks me if her toy was still at home. I asked, the blue dinosaur? She replies, nah, the green one, the one she has all the time? I said, well, what about the blue one? To which she responded, there is no blue one. What are you talking about? My head started to spin. I started reading online about theories on our consciousness traveling to other dimensions when we die because I admit I was having a bit of a death anxiety after that night. I usually have a panic attack or anxiety, but this was way different. Anyways, I started looking into theories about souls and consciousness and came across that one and how it lays within the parameters of infinite universes and small things in people's lives change after an accident, near-death experience, etc. I'm not convinced I died, but something weird definitely happened that night, and now I have a bright green dino making me question everything I know. Edit for clarification. I have not had COVID recently. I do not have any gas in my house. My water heater is gas, but it's outside in a closed area. And I have a CO2 detector in my apartment, so I think I'm solid regarding that. I don't take any medications or anything of that sort. Hiding in the cellar and away from him, I quickly whipped out my phone, but there was no signal, so I posted online for help. Almost immediately, someone gave me a comment alongside a helpful word that made my blood freeze, and before I knew it, I heard his footsteps approaching. And with that, we're near the end of our video. I like to thank the users who let me read their stories. Thank you guys so much, and I do hope you enjoyed how I read them. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. If you're new, subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. Now, if you'd like to help this channel/podcast, share it with anyone who might enjoy it. If you'd like to help in other ways, I do have a Patreon, merch, and PayPal. I'd like to thank my patrons for supporting me. Thank you guys so much. Now, if you feel so inclined, you could leave me a comment, but I gotta get you that Sunday word first. On screen right now is every entry I got last week. Sorry, the week before. Last week was a compilation, and if you watched it, I really hope you enjoyed those. Now, let's get you with this Sunday's word. This Sunday's word is favor. which means approval, support, or liking for someone or something. Or an act of kindness beyond what is due or usual. So, either down below or on Twitter, making sure you @ me, write me a sentence using this word, or you can even write me a story. But either way, I really just love reading your comments. And as always, guys, thank you for watching, listening, commenting, liking, whatever you're doing. It really just means a lot to me. Sleep tight and don't let 42 bite.